Okay. Live
Are we?
from International Women's Day. It's an International Women's Day edition of Business Pants, joined as always by Emma, International Women's Day lurking, and Matt, International Women's Day Mascardi.
Yay!
I'm roughly 30 minutes away from a relatively unsatisfying lunch consisting mostly of non-fat Greek yogurt. Ugh.
Oh.
Oh,
Actually, I like Greek yogurt. And today's
non-fat.
International Women's Day flavored bag called March 8th, 2022. I complain a lot about the lack of recognition for International Women's Day.
Making it different somehow from other shows.
Well, it's a different kind of complaining. Matt stumbles back into the metaverse and Emma plays a game.
Yay.
If she can work her computer machine.
Her tech, actually.
Is your computer machine working today, Emma?
Yes, I fixed it. I'm a genius.
The
Is all I have
interwebs
to
is
say
working.
I sort of didn't hear that, so it's debatable. There we go.
So no, it
It's
doesn't work.
International Women's Day. You have to be nice to me.
It is?
No,
Oh.
we don't.
You know what? That's a good segue, Emma, because I wouldn't have known that from reading the news. Here we go.
No.
Ooh.
International Women's Day is a global holiday celebrated annually on March 8th to commemorate. So they would have known. It's not like it doesn't move like the tides. They knew it was coming, March 8th, to commemorate the cultural, political, and socioeconomic achievements of women. What's the best way to honor this day if you're me or us? To complain.
It's
Of
true.
course.
All right, here we go.
How much are we complaining about today?
A lot. This is what I noticed this morning and my gazillion email newsletters from all the heavy hitters and business news and ESG news that nobody seems to give a shit about this. So, well,
That's
tough.
true.
I give a shit, so I'm going to name and shame. But before I get to it, can I just add that it's super easy to get your head out of the ass, out of your ass. Sorry. As I was
The
writing
ass.
this piece,
Global ass.
I kid you not. As I was writing this piece, I received a notification on my phone from Dick's Sporting Goods called "It's International Women's Day."
From Dick's
And-
Sporting Goods, really?
Yes, and an email from Disney Plus celebrating what is it again? International Women's Day. Here we go. CNBC. So I looked at all the news sites, all the business news. CNBC. There is a link in the quick links section. You know it's already bad when you're in quick links, but whatever. Called Women in C-Suite. It doesn't actually mention International Women's Day, and this story is after these other stories called Pro High Gas Winners, Ukraine Updates, 10 Tech Losers, Samsung Hacked, $300 Oil Warning. Anyway, after that, after I scrolled, nothing. Despite approximately 134 links, yes, I counted. There was an article called Diversity in the Gaming Industry is an Economic Imperative, says Meta executive. But I had to scroll within a separate window to even see that. So that's all the content in general about women or diversity, let
Look,
alone
it could
a
have been
mention.
called. It could have been called "Babes in the C-Suite." So, just be thankful.
It's
that-
also, speaking of that particular headline, it was called "Women in C-Suite." Are they not missing an
Yeah.
article there?
The-
It feels like
These are,
a grammar
Emma, those
problem.
were quick links. Those were quick links.
Sorry. 3 letters for a proper article. is
It
too
should
many.
have just
I get
said
it,
"women."
but
It would have been more efficient.
Let's go on to Bloomberg. 53 links down. Yes, I actually was counting. This is not hyperbole. When you get to the crypto section, keep scrolling because there's another section called equality. Okay, that's,
Ooh, a whole section.
there are 4 stories, but nothing explicitly on International Women's Day. There was something like Disney avoids taking a stand on Florida's "Don't Say Gay" measure. Dubai's biggest bank to boost number of women in senior roles. CEO of Unicorn Stack says she'll go head-to-head with... Okay, all right, you get the point. And then 58 more links after that. Nothing.
Classic.
Business Insider. I was actually thinking Business Insider would catch this. They seem to skew a little younger and hipper. Am I wrong here?
Yes,
Yes.
you're right.
But nothing. 23 links down. There's an article called "There's Only One Female CEO Among the 15 Largest Delivery Companies." Right? That's directly above an article called "I've started traveling the world while working remotely. At 29, it's helped me regain a sense of control over my life." Okay.
Yeah, that is more important.
I will say 62 links later, there's an article, Elvest top money coach explains how women can feel more confident in salary in business negotiations. That's, they said women.
It said women. There was a woman there.
28 links later, the glass cliff. A subject we like here is a serious problem for women in corporate America. So that's something. There's about 50 more links. Women show up a few times, especially in the personal finance section. There's an article called "I'm a Trans Woman Saving Money for Gender Affirming Care." That's it. No mention. Okay. Wall Street Journal. Nothing. Not even close. No, really, I'm serious. It must be like a point of an editorial point here.
It's a Murdoch property.
The only mention of women was this article. This is the only mention of women. Katie Meyer, Stanford women's soccer player, found dead in campus residence. I shit you not. On International Women's Day, that's the only time they even mentioned.
They said woman.
Okay, you're right. And I went to the business section, nothing in the business section. New York Times homepage, nothing, more of the same. And don't make me count anymore. I actually have given up counting at this point. The only reference to woman was this: saving lives, one call at a time. During her first few months working as an emergency dispatcher, Elise Rivera coached a woman giving birth while stuck in traffic. Okay, so...
It's true. A man couldn't do that.
Yes,
anyway, moving on to the New York Times business section.
Breathe and push.
There were a few articles about women, including one called "In These Women's Hands, Dating is Truly the Stuff of Horror." Okay, I will be fair to the New York Times. There is a women in leadership section, but I caution you, there is actually no way to find it. There is no link on the homepage. There is no link on the business page. It says it's in the world section. I went to the world section. There's no link on the world section. The only way I found out about this was there was a link buried at the bottom of my Deal Book newsletter referring to the women in leadership section. Otherwise, I looked everywhere. There's no way to actually navigate to this goddamn page called Women in Leadership. So let's talk about the Women in Leadership page in the New York Times. There are 9 stories first. 9 stories. That's nice. Including one called "An Architect Who Mixes Water and Nature to Build Resilience." Okay, whatever. There's also a latest news column, right? Latest news, Matt. You got it? There's a latest news column.
Latest women and leadership news column.
Women in leadership. Latest news section. I know you're excited, Emma. There are first are 2 stories that are technically seen in other parts of the paper, but whatever. They're cross-referencing. It's fine. The third story is from November 17th, 2020.
Latest news. That's the last time women mattered.
Okay, I'm about ready to give up, but I thought, let's go to the FT, Financial Times. It's international, right? Am I right? International Financial Times. International Women's Day.
Check Al Jazeera.
Here we go. 137 links. I started counting again. There's a few stories. Here's one called "China's Chained Woman Exposes Horror of Beijing's One-Child Policy."
Yikes.
There's another one called "Football: The Business Case for the Women's Game."
Oh, business cases for women playing sports.
At the very bottom of the page, a lot of scrolling, there is a link to a Women in Business forum. That's something, I guess.
Okay,
that's
forum,
it.
Yeah. A group
At that point, I gave up. Nobody cares. In
Well,
fact, I'm embarrassed. At this point, I'm embarrassed for caring, but nobody cares about International Women's Day. That's it.
You just talking about it just gave me gender fatigue. I'm exhausted.
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe they had editorial meetings about covering it, and then the men got kind of like uncomfortable, and some diarrhea started forming, and they just abandoned it.
I mean, there's a lot of bombing happening. I get we're diverted, but you'd think that for the fact that we've marginalized 50% of the global population for 10,000 years,
Yeah.
one day a year, we could spend one story on it. One story.
And alas.
It's overrated. It's overrated bullshit.
I guess not.
All right, come on, Emma. Get us out of my funk a little bit. You have a game for us today?
I do. And this game still is its name is a work in progress. So tell me
never
what you
name
think
things.
of
Can we just call it Emma's work in progress? Can that just be
Emma's
the name?
Yeah.
Right
of Emma's
now,
life. Yeah.
welcome to the Feelings Corner with me, your host.
Oh, I like this.
Emma
I
Lurkin.
have none.
Yes,
ready.
exactly. That's why I'm going
ready.
to force some upon you.
No.
So, the rules of this game. I will read a headline. Damien and Matt have to guess how I feel about the headline. Whoever comes closest to the adjective I have picked to describe how I
Yeah,
feel
right.
wins.
Yes.
Bonus points if you
Problematic.
can
I'll
guess
just guess
why I
now.
feel that way, but that sounds pretty hard, so I won't hold you to a standard quite
Okay.
that high.
Do we have a list of adjectives here, or do we have to make them up?
No,
No, we're
you need to
making it up.
actually use your brain for
Damn
something.
it.
God
Okay, all right,
forbid.
fine.
Well, my
If it's
feelings.
It's not the
If I use my
Wordle.
brain,
I
I'm
can't
gonna
really
fail.
do it. Okay. All right.
If it is Wordle, I'll fail.
All right. Here we go.
You are allowed to ask any contextual questions you want about the headlines. I will try to answer most in good faith, but do reserve the right to dismiss any question I choose because this is my goddamn game. Your
Yes, thank
answer can
God.
be phrased in the following form. This headline is blank.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
here's your headline today. Weight Watchers app violated kids' privacy, DOJ says.
Okay.
That is your headline.
All right. I'm going to go immediately into this one because
Okay.
if I'm
Yeah.
inside Emma's brain, first feeling might be a little bit of ragey, like, of course, first of all, it fuses like the Weight Watchers, which is basically a program designed to make women feel bad about themselves so that they can get on the program
So
to
true.
pretend feel better about themselves, but they never actually do, right? So already there's like this mix of kind of like anger, hate in there. But then it says the app violated kids' privacy, and it's a Department of Justice thing. So rather than being ragey, I actually think what we've got is throw your hands up and yeah, of course. It's of course. This
Is that an
headline
adjective?
makes me feel of course.
That counts. That counts as an answer for sure.
That's right. That's what I'm going with.
I'm wondering if Emma, have you? Okay, I can ask questions. Have you ever
can.
had an experience with Weight Watchers?
I have not.
Did you have a prior opinion about Weight Watchers and/or Oprah Winfrey, former board member and large major shareholder at Weight Watchers?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I'm going to say that this headline made you feel vindicated for your prior hatred of Weight Watchers.
Wow.
Damien is shockingly close. He
Okay,
used
close, but not
the
not
word
there.
that I almost used.
Okay.
But my answer is this headline is validating because
Oh,
this
yeah,
one
yeah, close,
is
close, yeah.
personal for me.
Yeah.
I have
okay.
been waiting for Oprah to face the music, and I think her day is coming.
Wait,
This-
I kind of nailed it. Come on.
You,
you
that,
kind
yeah,
of nailed it.
Keep going. Keep going.
That's a 100 for Damien.
Yeah.
You
No,
kind
100.
of-
I got
you
V
kind of
and
nailed
I got
it.
Oprah.
So the situation is that there's a company called Kurbo, which is a weight management app for kids between the ages of 8 and 17.
Oh,
and it's
Jesus,
settling
8. Ugh.
8 years old. And it is
Yeah.
settling with the FTC and the DOJ for a piddling $1.5 million in order to resolve
Million.
allegations
Okay.
that that they illegally gathered personal information from children. They allegedly violated the Children's Online Privacy Protection app. And the app was marketed towards children as young as 8. They collected name, phone number, height, weight, food intake without notifying or obtaining consent from parents. The app is also like fucked up in its own right. They designate foods as green, yellow, or red to show how much kids should be eating of them. So they do
Okay.
have to, and in their settlement situation, they do have to delete any ill-gotten data and the algorithms that they use the data for. And
Sure,
the
they can
thing
do
that Damien got dead on is that
Yes.
I think that Oprah is such a problem. She was friends with Harvey Weinstein,
Wow.
defended him basically like until the day that he got indicted. And
she
she
didn't have to,
continues to
yeah.
support Dr. Phil and was the one who launched his career, and he is obviously a piece of shit. So and Oprah is, you're right, Damien, she is a board member and a major shareholder. I think she
Still?
owns like
Okay.
15%. Yeah.
I think she
owns,
started to
15%.
divest a little, which I think she started to get bored after a while and divest a little bit. But yeah, keep
Well, all I know is that all of this happened on Oprah's watch, and I feel very validated for my suspicions of Oprah.
All right.
And yeah,
So,
that was dead on.
forget-
Damien.
so the- forget divesting out of Rosneft BP. Oprah should divest out of Weight Watchers.
Yeah, I'm with that sentiment. Yeah.
I feel
mean,
proud 'cause
it
I'm
is-
never gonna get that close again to winning this game. That was.
I would have
total loss,
never
total loss.
guessed that the Weight Watchers app was basically the Instagram of already bad self-esteem, right? Like it's
Well,
like Instagram
for
gives you
children,
bad
no less.
self-esteem, then you go to Weight Watchers where it makes it worse and they steal your crap too. Like that's just amazing.
Can I
You
just
push it
say,
on your children?
unlike Fox News and MSNBC, can we provide some balanced coverage here? At least they're
No.
not targeting 7-year-olds. right?
Oh, thank God.
That
At
is
least they have
fair and
boundaries,
balanced.
moral
I take it
lines.
back.
Here we go. Let's move back to the complaining. Ready? Can I go? Can I complain again more?
Yes.
I'm
Thanks,
so
Emma.
tired.
I like it. I like games. Here we go. Here are all the other ways the business ESG press, and I'm looking at you too, ESG, and I did just go to the MSCI website because Matt mentioned it earlier, because I thought like they'll at least have some reused banner from prior years. No, they got nothing. Nobody cares anymore. Here's all the other ways the business and ESG press avoided International Women's Day and women in general. So I went through all of our tag stories, all of them, that are about women, mention women, infer women, and I thought I'd share them with you. This is partly to prove that we actually do things around here. But
I like
here we
Women
go.
Inferment Day.
I have a few women inferments here. First of all, here the first one actually. Twitter and newspaper headlines have replaced judge and jury. Andrew Cuomo blames cancel culture for his resignation. Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, the informant here is obvious New York State Attorney General Letitia James, who previously concluded Cuomo sexually harassed 11 women, said that he's a pathetic man. So, and anyway, that's the inference there. Look, I know, Matt, you're thinking I'm crazy, but I got to dig deep here for any kind of mention of women. I know, because
We're real deep.
on International Women's Day. Here we go. Moving on. Activision says it failed to hire another woman for its board, blaming Microsoft. Matt, you covered this yesterday. One of the best stories ever. I hate to say it.
Ever.
Yeah, ever. I
In
mean,
over 3 years.
what incredible scumbags. I mean, I actually didn't think that I could find like a new way to call them a scumbag, but this is insanity.
They're the
I mean,
gift
really.
that keeps giving. I don't want
Yeah.
them to go away. I'm really sad that Microsoft bought them.
Number 3, how low WNBA salaries led to an American basketball superstar's detainment in Russia. So, stupid men start wars, actual wars, drug wars, and now it seems the one American paying the price is a basketball player who's a woman named Brittany. I mean,
A really good basketball player named
Yeah.
Brittany.
Number 4, this is an uncomfortable one. I don't really. I'll let you know how this is inferring women, but here we go. Company, ready for this, Matt? Company
Ready.
Company offers employees pods to masturbate in, complete with VR headsets.
Wait,
Is
are
that-
they equality pods? Because I read this story and there's
Yeah.
tissues, but that's it.
Okay. This is from a Cyprus-based adult website, Strip Chat. That relieved me a little bit.
Oh,
but
okay.
Does it though?
But I don't have the evidence to back this up, but this just feels like a workplace hate crime against all women. Am I wrong here? And not just against women, but against all non-office masturbators. I mean, I'm just saying. Moving on. Number 5. The number of women in charge of U.S. companies is still very small. Here's how to change that. The reason why I'm happy to pick this one is that they actually, the study focused on the period 2003 to 2014 using data provided by Governance Metrics International.
Oh, you're wearing the hat. Now I get
That's
it.
us. That's kind of us.
It's not us, it's you. It's
Okay,
literally you.
So you're welcome. I'm saying to the world, you're welcome. As a side note, doesn't that data feel kind of old, Matt? 2003 to 2014?
I mean, it's almost 10 years old, but that's
All right.
not.
I don't want to be a
Still
jerk.
good.
Second, the study points out a motherhood penalty. This is interesting to me. I've actually never heard this. Citing that female directors are significantly more likely to be single and childless compared with their male peers. Have you heard this one, Matt?
I have not. No.
This is interesting to me. Unfortunately, the link to this citation was broken, but this is interesting to me. Emma has already been tasked to reach out to the authors of this report, so hopefully they can come on as fancy experts. Moving on. Number 6, Apple, Google, Microsoft, and other tech giants are finally mandating a return to the office. This might be good news for women because based on this other headline we pulled, working from home is a breeze for men.
Yeah.
All right,
it is.
so maybe there's some good news coming. Number 7, meet Russia's richest man who just transferred $1 billion of his empire to his wife. Okay, I mean this is a
Women?
stretch, but a wife is
Wife?
a woman.
Why?
Yeah.
Good. That's good. I see what you did there.
Look, this is not my fault. This is just that the fact that the business news and ESG news, they just don't care. Number 8, Australia boards add more women, but CEO roles go missing. The takeaway here is typical glacial improvements on the board, but horrible still in leadership. This is the same story every year.
Every year.
Every year since for many decades.
Gender fatigued.
I know. I only got 3 more.
As a man.
Number 9. Jill Hazelbaker takes control of Uber's narrative to emphasize safety. Not sure how I feel about this one, other than obviously it took a woman to clean up a bunch of men's messes. I mean,
Man mess. Well, they
Man
could have just made a masturbation pod. That would have also solved that problem.
Number 10. This is a Redline Capital deletes team page featuring CEO Tatiana, etc. Good news and bad news here. The good news is it's a female CEO.
Okay.
But
Bad
where's
news
her
here.
page?
Bad news part 1. Her VC firm's funds originate from her Russian billionaire oligarch father.
Oops,
Bad news part
okay.
2. Bad news part 2. The company is dealing with its problem by deleting a web page.
well.
Okay. And finally, to wrap this up, because
it
I
worked.
know Matt, you're ready to strangle me. To wrap up all the headlines from International Women's Day. Finally, closing the gender gap for women-led businesses could boost global GDP by $2 trillion. Citi says, Jesus, I mean, this should be the lead story everywhere. Boosting global GDP by $2 trillion, right? Doesn't that sound like something that
The
business
math
people
doesn't
care
work
about?
out because global climate change is going to cost like $7 trillion. So, I guess this is good. Working towards it, but we're still a little behind.
I guess the business news couldn't seize on this for something interesting to talk about.
I love that International Women's Day news roundup consisted of basically 0 stories about International Women's Day.
No, I mean that's the actual subtext here to all this laborious reporting is that there wasn't a single mention of it anywhere.
Well, there was one thing
Here.
that dropped in the metaverse that's related somehow to women, and I'm going to give it to you right now.
All right.
Also, I have a tidbit of news about metaverse Ukraine Russia because I could not figure out what's
Couldn't
going on
resist.
there. But here we go. Here's number 1. On March 7th, which is yesterday, academics at Duke University they released a study. They developed virtual eyes for the metaverse to train metaverse platforms to track human stimuli, including sexual harassment stimuli. Basically, they have figured out how to watch people's eyes in the stupid Oculus Rift and figure out whether they're going to be rapey gropey. That's
What?
got to be good for women, right? It's like very Minority Report,
Preventative care.
preventative metaverse care, already for women. I'm taking back all of my feelings about the metaverse. We've solved it. Thank you, Duke University, for launching that a day before International Women's Day. But on the other side of the metaverse, I'm really disappointed with the metaverse Ukraine-Russia reaction here. In an effort to stop the war in Ukraine, I went into the metaverse to find the young people who are rising up against the authoritative regimes.
Yeah.
I
Where's the
went-
French resistance of the metaverse? Where's the Ukraine
I was waiting for it.
resistance?
I went to go find everybody waving the flags and like throwing Molotov cocktails at the Samsung store in Decentraland or whatever. And nothing. Here's what I found. Basically, it's going to disappoint you. I find a user named Malloy who's dressed in a fake Ukrainian flag jacket.
Fake.
I found a HK Satsu had on some really short shorts and was carrying a flag that said "I stand with Ukraine."
Okay. But that seems like a gropey. Is that part of the gropey eye movement thing?
I'm waiting for them to install that into
Okay.
the metaverse. Peanut was selling Ukrainian gear to raise money for Save the Children, which currently is not really doing a lot in
I was
Ukraine
gonna
yet.
say, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay.
So they have aspirations too, but Jennifer Garner's on their board, so that's got to be good. And I bought a fake slice of pizza at the pizzeria outside of the fake Samsung store. So
Now we're talking.
there we go. The metaverse, the libertarian utopia, actually is doing its best.
How much was the slice of pizza?
That's the important thing.
It
How many
was
bitcoins?
It was 1 mana. Like,
Oh.
go look that up. Okay? It's
Wow,
just one
I
mana.
asked a question and didn't understand the answer.
Yeah,
Keep
that's
going.
that's everything in the metaverse.
Better than 3
NFT
mana.
sales have tumbled 29% in a week, and searches for metaverse-related terms have dropped more than half, which actually suggests one of two things: either being bombed and living in a world where real people bomb other real people does actually distract you from jacking into the metaverse and sexually rapey, gropey peopling with your avatars, or it suggests that 50% of metaverse users are just Russian hackers who are
Oh.
selling digital crap that are blocked by sanctions.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the last metaverse point, which is Coinbase announced they blocked 25,000 wallets for, quote, illicit activity. But crypto is still united in its libertarian effort to provide fake freedom to access to fake currency
what?
usable in a fake universe.
Doesn't that just blow up the whole model?
The whole model's dead. The crypto
What is the
metaverse,
what is the illicit activity? Did they say what it is?
They said it was they linked them to Russian users who were somehow associated with the sanctions. They provided the
They're
data.
tracking you. They're watching
tracking
you.
They provided the
blocking
data
you.
to governments. This
Right.
is no joke. Coinbase took its libertarian data and gave it to governments, and they simultaneously are saying we're protecting the freedom of our users. So
Before I let you end the show, Matt, I'm happy you covered this story because I too am disappointed in the metaverse. This should be their moment to shine. I mean, most of us are depressed as hell about this war. You know, we can't really get out of this feeling of dread about it. The metaverse, this should be the moment to shine. I mean, really, they should be showing us why there can be no war in the metaverse, or you can resist the war in the. But I mean, there's so many opportunities, and they're silent. They're
Nothing. Nothing. That's all we got.
That's a lot.
International Women's Day today. Celebrate it by complaining to a loved one. That's Damian Rollis and Emma Lurking. I'm Matt Moscardi. We are Free Float Media. This was Business Pants. That was the important news that you missed. Nothing. And we'll be back tomorrow with more nothing for you. Goodbye.